What's up, guys? Tobin here with you. Thanks for checking us on out. You're beautiful, and I love you. Bright-eyed and bushy-tailed going on into the week as the Miami Dolphins currently sit in the 7th spot in the playoffs. Of course, they have that tie-breaking loss currently to the LA Chargers, so that's where they're at right now. Great news yesterday with the Patriots and the Jets both losing in just epic fashion. You know, like, look, yes, every team lost this week. I guess don't dance on it too much, but the Dolphins, you're hanging blow for blow in an epic snowball game, and everybody's thrilled by it with the 1 seed in the AFCs. No moral victories, but you can take some pride, at least like you showed up. You didn't lose like the New England Patriots did, which was in the most epic fashion you ever could. Like, you want to talk about, first of all, it's one thing to lose like that. It's another thing to lose to the Raiders like that, who have been Raidering all year. And to see McCorkle just get absolutely railroaded over by Chandler Jones was quite delightful. And then afterwards, you got Bill Belichick, who's out here and just hosing him down. Where they're like, hey, Bill, why didn't you try the Hail Mary? There goes, couldn't throw it that far. Oh, frosty, dude. Because Mac Jones is asking Belichick, which, by the way, I would say, Mac Jones, you should mind your P's and Q's, dude. I mean, that is, maybe the greatest coach of all time, second to Shula. But the idea that he's out here and he's like, you're going to ask the coach. And that dude is a sourpuss. And again, goes to the fact is to, like, you look around this division and you see what Zach Wilson has done this year being a big mope and Mac Jones being a big mope. And Tua Tagovailoa, like, I thought that he just handles all of this stuff so well after the loss when it comes to, not wanting everybody to get too down on themselves, football being the greatest team game, in lockstep with his head coach as far as the communication, the message is concerned. I really liked a lot of that. The Dolphins certainly got to rally these last 3 weeks because I don't want to be sitting here in 3 weeks thinking about how the Pats and the Jets bounce the Miami Dolphins. But I just find the Dolphins to be much better teams than both of those. And I think, they get the effort that they did this past week and can put it forth in these next 3 games. I think they can win all 3 of these games and find themselves comfortably in the playoffs. And we'll see, what becomes of that and what matchup that turns into. Because currently you're sitting into a opening round matchup against Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs, which, by the way, holy hell, that would be juicy. Tyreek Hill going to KC for an opening game. Tough matchup, don't get me wrong. Tough atmosphere that you have to go to. Forget about just weather. I'm talking about, like, just crazy fans, crazy loud, a lot of pressure on Tyreek Hill. I'm sure that's going to be a very hostile environment for him personally because while he should be a beloved member of that team, everybody took everything that he said so personally after he left and is still talking about things with, like, Shannon Sharp and the way he left. But Tyreek, interesting comments from him on Twitter. You guys could check this on out. Tyreek Hill, he tweeted this yesterday. I will never play like that again, Finns. Bad performance for myself last night. I'll be better. Deuces emoji. Got to. That's how the cheetah rolls. Which is a pretty crazy thing. You think about this, guys. He has basically been chasing the record for basically most of the year. I don't know if he's going to get there, but in 14 games, Tyreek Hill, who everybody said was going to be wasted here, he's at 1,529 receiving yards, which is a career high, passing his previous high of 1,479, which he did in 16 games. He has done this in 14 games. He is 2 catches away from his receptions career high. He has done this while he's definitely going to break his targets record, which is a funny thing because he did say in his recent interview he didn't like how many times he was getting targeted. He was targeted a career high last year. This year, he's 152. Last year was 159. He will definitely pass that this year, I would imagine. And he's just been tremendous. But, you've seen these last couple of games. We know that he was playing banged up in the Chargers game. This past game, you had that touchdown drop in the end zone, which would have been a good play, but he's, one of the best receivers in the league. I feel like he feels like he should have had that. I know a lot of Dolphin fans are still upset about what Sherfield's drop in the end zone for sure. You're thinking about what the hell happened there. Should have had that one. But Tyreek Hill also, I think, probably doesn't like the fact that guys are trying to be more physical with him. I mean, to the point where, you're frustrated. You're watching the replays. These guys aren't getting the calls that they should be getting. Meanwhile, on the other side, little rinky-dink grab of the jersey, and the refs are calling it. Not that I'm petty on it or anything, but I think that maybe some of what Tyreek Hill is alluded to. And, when you have a game that is like that close and you're looking back and you have a drop touchdown and you're thinking to yourself, man, we really could have had that one. We could have been in a good spot, maybe still been alive in the division. And instead, you're looking at this and you're like kicking yourself for where you're at right now. But I think for them, Dolphins remain scheduled. Of course, they got Christmas coming up here against Green Bay. Then they will go to New England and take on the Fighting McCorkles. And then they take on the New York Jets to wrap up the season. And I really feel like if they can play that, if they can harness what they did and maybe keep running the football if, things are going good. Who knows? But it's interesting, dude. Like, you think about that's 3 teams right now that are all kind of in disarray. The Jets, I would say, probably the most surprising of being decent this year, but have certainly had their issues with the quarterback drama and not being settled up there and guys in the team wearing T-shirts of the other quarterback and all that drama. You have the Patriots right now who have very obvious public infighting with the coach, the coordinator, and the quarterback, which is funny because Mac Jones, was thought about of intangibles, was like supposed to be leader guy, supposed to be the guy who's perfect for the Patriots system, the Patriots way. And, I mean, I was listening to some Boston sports radio on the way down to the studio today. Oh, they hate his ass. They hate his ass. People hate – the thing that's funny about them, they are sitting there ingrates all like wanting Belichick out of there. And I don't understand having Matt Patricia be your offense coordinator either. That's very, very strange. But, man, for him to just go out and be like, couldn't throw it far enough. For the Hail Mary attempt, amazing. Jets also, by the way, losing to the Juggernaut Lions, who everybody when the Dolphins, when they got that win, they said, you beat the Lions? Who cares? Now the Lions sneaking up on folks. So right now, again, Miami 7th. Could be a matchup against KC. Could be a rematch against Buffalo if they are able to leapfrog them. So there's some interesting things that are going on right now. Right? Buffalo does have the head-to-head over KC so far this year. So KC has to finish a full game ahead of them to get there. And then, for LA, if we're going to talk about like they got kind of a soft schedule as far as like leaping ability here. They got Colts. Oof. They have the Rams. They've completely checked out. And then the fighting Russell Wilsons in Denver. So that's going on there. Baltimore, who's going to be probably in a dogfight with Cincy the rest of the way, also depending on Lamar Jackson's health. They got the Falcons, the Steelers, the Bengals the rest of the way. So, you're sitting here right now and just got to play the way. I think that if the Dolphins can play to their best ability, they should beat these 3 teams. They really, really should. And as far as Green Bay, Green Bay's not out of it, but they're not. They look with the way they've been playing all year. That is not a team that you should fear. Obviously, Aaron Rodgers is one of the best to ever do it. But as far as this season has been concerned, if it's not the Chicago Bears, he's basically been a shell of what he has been this year. So just putting that pressure on, man. I think that's the thing that has to continue to go. You got a great second half here from Jalen Phillips. And, ultimately, that game was a really good game against Buffalo. I'm still standing and I'm in lockstep with Jalen Waddle. Like, you don't want to take any moral victories, but I do think that you have to be much better. You have to feel much better about the way your team played football this past week as opposed to the 2 weeks before. Like the 2 weeks before against San Francisco and the Chargers, and especially the way they came out of the gate in those games, you left you leave yourself scratching your head like, who is that? That team looks unrecognizable. But the team that played this past week, that's a team you can be proud of. That's a team that, like, all right, this Dolphins team, this version of the Dolphins team can do some things. Now, their margin for error is not great. They gotta put their ass in gear and certainly keep this effort going for these 3 weeks. But if they do, truly believe they should be in a good spot and avoid this just epic collapse and swoon to keep them out of the playoffs. And as Josh Allen said, look, Josh Allen gave some respect this past after the game where he said that's a really good football team. Who knows if we'll see him again? I'm pretty positive that we will. The third quarter is not where we want to be, but again, the fourth quarter, the guys made plays and stepped up and found a way to win. And you got to give him credit for it. The Dolphins were able to really rattle what seemed like an unstoppable beast. He was making all these throws on the run. Then you get him to go 4 straight punts. And then, he had those monster runs, and he's a behemoth. But I think he knows that was that they've been in 2 games right now with these guys, and they are neck and neck. They are dead even as far as things are concerned, which has to leave them, thinking they came in here in the worst of conditions, tough to travel, getting pelted with snowballs, which, by the way, still not forgiving you for that, Buffalo. All right, grow up. But Josh Allen knows that the Dolphins, they got a lot of tools, they got a lot of weapons, and they're a tough team because they're a tough team to put away. Like, the thing that is impressive about it is they can still score in the blink of an eye, and no matter what hole it seems that they're in, they can dig themselves out of. Even in the games that they play like absolute dog bleep against the Chargers and the 49ers, they still put themselves in position to be in those games, and that's with not playing very good football. I think it's just, dialing in the simple things, going with what's working too. I mean, like that run game was as solid as we've seen it all year, maybe outside of the Browns game. And to just kind of leave it by the wayside in the fourth quarter was a frustrating thing to see, I think, for a lot of fans. But also, you got a lot of development coming from your head coach as well. Ultimately, it's Tua's favorite time of the year. All right, it's Christmas.
I love Christmas.
Let's deck the halls. Let's get some jingle balls and get a win against the Packers.